You're listening to The Sizzle.
Have you ever wished that you could say what you really feel? Well, the time is now on The Sizzle. Uncut. Are you ready?
Unfiltered, unapologetic, unstoppable. Welcome to the White Table Talks, where no topic is off limits. Hosted by Moe and G Sizzle. Let's get into it.
Have you ever met a girl that you're trying to date, but then you say to yourself, wait, I don't want to just run up on this girl. I want to be smart. I got to be cool. Because anything you do in life, in the great words of the writer Morris Day, you can do as long as you're cool.
Nobody follows that 1980s advice any longer.
See, first of all, ma'am, that was a drop. Second of all, you're listening to the White Table Talk here. I'm Moe Sizzle.
I'm Moe Sizzle.
Oh, you Moe Sizzle. Okay. I'm G Sizzle.
And this is the Sizzle Uncut.
That's right. The Sizzle Uncut, where we have the best talk around in the region, in every place, anywhere you need to be. This is the White Table Talk, and we have a topic today that I think is a standard. Mo, I believe it is the standard for all young men and young menpreneurs out there who are getting ready to embark on a career of macking in these streets.
Yeah, and I know we're going to totally be opposite on this because I think that you're totally off on this one.
Listen, I have research. I have data. I have things.
I don't want to hear anything about any research or data.
We have the power of nonverbal cues. I've got stuff playing hard to get. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, all these young men, if you're listening, I will help you through this process. It's not only worked for me, but it's worked for generations of G Diddy men who have gone through and found a way to make relationships impactful.
So is G Diddy very similar to P Diddy?
No, ma'am, not
Okay,
that we're
so
not.
make sure.
We're not of the same clan. We are not of the same chapter.
Okay.
No, but because we are all Diddies, we have a shared and that common bond and gold in being a Diddy is that understanding that Diddies have a way of making sure that things get done, especially when it comes to your interactions in relationships and in the people that you know and the women that you get ready to know. Because one thing G Diddy will tell you is that you should not make an overt approach to any woman that you're interested in.
I totally disagree with that. I don't know
bet you
where
do.
that has come from.
I bet you do.
Why do we live in a society now where men have kind of switched roles with the females? I mean, there is a time when we were all raised, and not to say that things are like they were in 1960s, but we were all raised to where the man should be the pursuer of the woman. If he was interested, he will make the move. And to a certain extent, why don't we keep things the way that they have been? I mean, I think that women sometimes set themselves up because they really fall for a person. They go after that person. That person really has no interest in them. It may just only be sexual, if that. And then the woman ends up falling for that person and then get their feelings hurt. It should be the man who is at least showing the interest. And then if a woman is not returning that, then I can see them stepping back. But it's not about chasing someone also. It's about just making your intentions or your interests known.
All right, here's where we are. Here's where this all goes left. We've talked about this several times, Mo. we are breaking norms and traditions. This is a new generation. This is 2025. These young men are in these streets doing what they got to do. And you know what I've learned? I've learned from the pop the balloon culture that you got to get in and get out. And sometimes now you don't have to sit there and wait for me to get in and get out. If I like it, I'm going to hold my balloon. If I don't like it, pop, there goes my balloon. I'm done with this. Done, I'm out for this. And if the same thing happens with her, then we're done with it. You know why you don't wait, Mo? You know why you don't do all of this old-timey, old-tie, oh, he has to come up to me and then ask me for the first dance. You don't do it because what we as men have learned through all of this, and it's not just the nonverbal clues, it's not the, hey, she's playing hard to get, maybe we should play this dance together, is that what we've learned is that women control this relationship game. Because if you don't like a man, it doesn't matter what he has on. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter how nice the conversation is. Maybe you can get talked into liking him down the road, but it's initial. And we as men have been told that we were wrong because we saw a woman and you made an initial assumption. You made an initial read. You in your mind had a balloon and you held that balloon. And that woman walked up, and it was either something about the way she dressed or the way she talked or the way she walked. And you popped that balloon in your head. You were like, nope, I am out, Jack. Not doing it. Now, maybe later on tonight, if I get a couple of drinks in me, I might do it. But I'm just saying right now, I'm done with this. And you've got to know now, young men, you got to know you have options. And not only do you have options, but you have a standard that you set. If the chick is not feeling you, if the conversation isn't going the way you need to go, then step back. Be like, I'm good. We're good. I'm not mad with you. Now, I will say there is no need to berate or to insult.
Right.
But if we good, we good. Right? And if we're not, I'm not going to waste time, I don't know if I should take her to Red Lobster or take her to Benihana. Because to me, that's not dating.
What's not dating?
That
Going out for dinner?
No, figuring out how much you can afford to go out to dinner with. Do I need to pay my light bill or my car insurance so I can take this chick out? If that is what this whole thing is based on, then I think that's a different type of relationship. That's called prostitution.
Well, no, I think that people sometimes set their expectations and standards high. I mean, sometimes it's about if you want to get to know someone, say, how about we just go out for lunch? Or how about we meet at Starbucks and talk and have a couple.
Starbucks?
Yes.
Oh, so you want to be one of them cheap ones.
No,
So if a man comes
no.
up to you and is like, hey, Mo, let's just meet up at Starbucks, you get what you like to drink. I get what I like to drink. Because, sometimes I like the spinach feta. So I get that.
I never had that before. That's in Starbucks?
That's a Starbucks. It's a
Oh.
light meal, and it's good for me. And it makes me keep on my caloric intake.
Okay.
So I'm good with that.
Okay.
But then you get back home, and you see on Instagram that the girl said you were cheap because you took her to Starbucks for a first date.
I have found, and that also depends on the woman or the man as well. Starbucks is not cheap. I mean, that's actually some
Far from
expensive
it.
coffee.
Far from it.
But it's also a great opportunity if you meet up with someone and then you realize you don't want to spend more than an hour with them. To me, it's a great place you can sit down, have conversation, get to know if this is a person I want to spend more time and more money and more resources on. So if a person automatically says you're cheap by just having a getting to know you experience, then you more than likely don't need to be with that person anyway.
See, this is the thing with this new pop your balloon generation. And I'm saying that for young men who are here and you're feeling the pressure. See, a lot of these young men are feeling the pinch. They're feeling the pressure that they got to get out here and make an impression. And this is something that goes back to our generation. This is half of the D-boys I knew were D-boys because they were not trying to get their mama a new house. They were not trying to get a well-tuned automobile. They were trying to get that chick that they saw in the surge area at the sock hop at the game, and you knew there was no way that you could afford those door knocker earrings and all the rest of the accoutrements that come with her. So you went to the streets to go and get that, and then you became that dude. You became I'm a street dude, and I just play chicks, and it's all this pressure. It's all this made up. Oh, I got to get this kind of chick. I got to get this kind of chick. Listen, young men, if you see a chick and you throw the rhythm and she doesn't pick up on the vibe, keep it moving. Just push on. It doesn't even have to be a long, drawn out conversation. Look, let's meet up at Starbucks. Let's meet up. Hey, you might be the kind of chick. Let's go to Panera.
Right.
Okay, that's cool. I want to do a pre-date. See, I'm here with that. I'm down for that. I'm down for the pre-date to see if this is an open floor. But I will say this. I think we're getting caught in a situation where young people are not clear on what they really want. Mm-hmm. And so they're getting caught in their social media worlds of what a relationship should look like, what it should sound like. Then you involve your girls, you involve your homeboys, and it just becomes one big mess.
Right.
Because the reality is, here's how it goes, Mo. This is the crux of it. Either I'm going to get some at the front end or the back end.
Who?
As a man, you're thinking, we got to close this deal somehow. We always got to be closing the ABCs.
So you're going automatically from getting to know the female to I'm going to sooner or later be in the bed with her. Is that what you're saying?
At some point, that's what you went over there too. I want to get to know her to know if we can keep this moving longer than, hey, it was great, or hey, I need to go. That is where we are right now. And that's probably where we've been for a long time. Because I asked you a question earlier. Yeah. And I've asked young people, I've asked older people. It's been the question of the week. So what if you came to a woman and said to her, I don't want to have long-term commitment with you. Mm-hmm. Or I'm not looking for a long-term commitment. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested, I'm interested. Let's move on to the next phase.
Yeah.
And you said to me what?
I said, what did I say? I said that, I said that people should be honest with what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. And that to me alleviates so much on the back end, because why wait to have that conversation after you all have spent some time together or spent time talking, knowing that you could give that person nothing more or want nothing more than have sex with them? Why not say that to them in the beginning of getting to know them? Because people always ask each other, well, what are you looking for? So what do you have going on? That's the perfect opportunity to say, I have this going on, I'm looking for this, or I'm not looking for this, and just be honest from the beginning.
See, this is the whole pop your balloon generation of, I see this and I see it on social media, and you see these young ladies, they come on, and for some of them, the minute they walk out there, if they're not attractive or if they're not somebody that this grouping likes, everybody's popping their balloon.
Right.
And it's vice versa, the same thing with women. A guy comes out there in the wrong outfit.
Right.
I saw a chick.
Popping balloons.
She popped the balloon because my man had on some Indianapolis Colt socks and shorts. Now, I would have popped the balloon too. But the point of the matter is, she wasn't waiting around to see if he's a quality individual. She went on to the man that she saw that she wanted. And because the guy she really wanted, here's how this was so funny. The guy she really wanted, she didn't sign on to because he had 4 kids.
Understandable.
I understand it.
Especially being young.
He wasn't that young. She wasn't that young. He wasn't that young either. Now, his oldest was like 19, 20.
The oldest?
Oldest.
Right.
The youngest, I think, was like 3.
That's a long time.
4 chicks.
Right.
With
How many?
4 baby mamas.
Exactly. So she still had to deal with 3 of the baby mamas if she got into something serious with
Here's the
him.
crazy part, though. She was feeling him. You could see it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, this isn't, and it wasn't even scripted.
Yeah.
This wasn't one of those good ones where you could say this was like a show. She felt the dude. Like they had this same weird, they had a dry humor that was,
Yeah.
they were the ones. So she picked the other guy because he only had one child that was
Okay.
19 and he was living with him, and he was the safe bet. But you know what made me think about it?
What's that?
When she said, when they asked at the end, and how's this gonna work, and you guys want to be together, and she was like, he good. He good. That's not an encouraging sign. I don't want a woman to think, he all right, he good.
I guess he'll do.
No, it ain't no guess he'll do. I want the conversation to say, girl, last night, he don't even know what's going to happen. He walk up in this room, it's going to be some animal stuff going on over here. That's what you want to hear. And if you're not attracted to someone, no matter what the better option is, or no matter how it makes more sense to be with the guy with one versus the 4 baby mamas, the one you wanted to be with, you sidestepped to get to the other one that you thought was a better option. But the other one that you thought was a better option really wasn't the option for you. And it wasn't based on the fact of who he was as a person. It was based on the little periphery things. But the dude you wanted to smash was the dude you were having the little he was the guy you really wanted.
Yeah, but then at a certain point, a person probably understands or knows, yeah, right now he looks good, but getting to know each other and build something or spend more time with each other, I also have to deal with him and 3 other women or 4 other women. And sometimes people have already dealt with situations where they said, I'm not dealing with that again. And then they'll just cut it off. Because then why go down a path if you've been down that path before and know what possibly will happen?
Here's the problem. There was one thing I didn't add to this story.
Okay.
The fact that she didn't say, it's kind of like Kanye getting put off of social media. It wasn't because of the anti-Semitic remarks. It was because he supposedly disseminated porn on a site where there are people who actively market their porn sites.
Okay.
This young lady said the reason she didn't choose him is because she thought he was done having kids and she wanted her 1-year-old to have a sibling.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with the 4 baby mamas. That wasn't the deal breaker. The deal breaker was she thought that she wasn't going to get another one out of him.
And she may not have, because if he already's taking care of 4 and
Well,
4
3.
different mothers or 3 with child support, and depending on what state he was in, that 19-year-old was not done unless they're out of school.
Possible.
Right. So she's in her mind, she's thinking he has to still take care of 3 other children. He can't afford to possibly bring in a 4th one. So more than likely he doesn't want that.
I don't think she thought that quick. I'm not going to credit her with
No, but
being
that's
that
almost
quick as a
like-
thinker.
It's almost what you could call a stereotype, because people think that way. If somebody already has kids and then you come in and say, I still want, more than likely, like, he probably don't want any more kids. They already have 4. She started thinking that way. You know what I mean? So
how do you move on then to the dude that you really aren't feeling? I mean, I get it. You get to learn and love somebody, and the old folk will tell you, you don't worry about that. You learn to love them over time, and then you just be with them.
But who's to say that she didn't care for him? Maybe she was looking at both, and one kind of caught her eye over the other. And then she said, but you know what? I can give him opportunity to see what happens with this. It doesn't mean that she wasn't looking at him. We've walked in a room before, and there's 10, 15 people, and you can point out more than one that's attractive. Mm-hmm. But then when you start hearing their stories or hearing them talking, you start in your mind like, oh no, they can't even talk. They can't even complete a sentence. They don't even make sense what they're saying.
You know where that's coming from?
Where's it
That's
coming
coming from old Moe Sizzle talk. I'm telling you, you walk into a room, you see a baddie, and you're like, Yeah, I got to get that baddie. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'm getting the baddie. Now, as the secondary response, you're like, oh, well, she was cool. I mean, we had a nice conversation. We ended up going out to get McDonald's breakfast drinks. But the baddie was the one. That was the one that my interest was in. And I'm just saying from this standpoint, you don't get past the I want you. And I'm saying this for men.
Okay.
You don't get past the I want you stage to the oh, she'll just do stage. It goes back to what you said earlier. The whole level of expectation. If I'm just getting you because you're easy to get or you're available, or if in a man's mind you say, well, okay, she'll do, we already are starting from a problem. There's a negative proposition already.
Yeah, I
Because
can believe
the
can
chick
agree
I
that.
want is the one, okay. You know, you go into a room, there could be a room full of sorors, and a bro walks into the room and he sees that one. He's going to make sure somehow he's going to get from that door to her.
Okay.
Somehow, some way.
Right.
There could be other baddies in there. There could be other chicks, but that one,
Yeah.
he saw her.
Yeah.
He's going towards her if he can get to her.
Yeah.
If he can make it, if she is not spoken for, accounted for, he's getting to her. He doesn't care about her homegirls, her sorors, her people, her cousin in them, maybe her brothers in them, but he's getting towards her.
Yeah.
And we're going to make this work. We're going to figure it out. No, she's not the greatest. She's not the smartest, but she's the one I want. And so I think we make a lot of concessions. Women make more concessions based on what is logical
Yes.
or what is emotionally safe.
Yes.
So you're not hurt.
Yes.
Where men look at it from the perspective, we're going to get the thing we want. I'm going to get the car I want. There's a possibility I can't afford this note.
Right.
There's a possibility in 6 months I might have to turn this car back in. But for the time being, I'm going to ride this joker until the wheels fall off of it.
Okay.
I'm taking every picture on Instagram with this car. They be like, girl, he got that Hellcat. Oh, hell yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because that was what I wanted. I didn't want a Ford Taurus. I wanted the Hellcat. That's what I got.
So you're saying that men essentially make their decision based off of visually what they want. Nothing to do with the character of the person, if the person is a good person or not. And they can have zero personality, but as long as they can shut their mouth and look good, that's who the man is going to go for.
I didn't say anything about shutting them out.
No. You said something about you're going to go for what you see.
Yes, you're going to go for what you want.
Right.
What I see, I want.
But what I'm saying is that even though you see and want, then by the time you get into a conversation with this person, you may be like, they're not attractive because they can't form two complete sentences.
Maybe.
Or they're dumber than a box of rocks. Is that somebody I could definitely still be around even on a daily or weekly basis?
If you want her bad enough, you can learn to get a Rosetta Stone. And we can go you can take her and get you can get her some classes. You're like, baby, watch this YouTube video and you're going to learn how to conjugate a verb. And this is going to work. Listen, I got plenty of partners, plenty. And the people in the comments will let us know. I got partners all over the place, different states, different countries. They have married women, not based on, oh my God, she's going to be the best, like, she'll be the best mother because she cooks scones and she really is attentive in folding clothes.
No one makes it. I don't think anyone makes those types of decisions.
No, you don't. You see the chick that one day you were in the mall and you walk past Fredericks of Hollywood or you walk past one of those stores and you were like, good God, man. I can't live with myself later tonight if I don't go in this place and try and figure out what I'm going to say to this chick to at least say, hey, let me give you my snap or let me, how about just follow me on IG? You follow me, I follow you. You know what we do. And that is how this conversation starts. You don't want to start the conversation based off of, and this is how I know that it is game that's being run on men.
How's that?
It's gaslighting. It's whitewashing. It's game being run on men because every woman, when they get this logical conversation, their antithesis conversation is, but you're missing some of the better qualities. Like, if a man walked up to you right now that you didn't like, would you even give him the time of day?
I can have a conversation with somebody
Didn't
I don't
ask you,
like.
could you have a conversation?
I can, though.
We can all do that. We work with people every day we don't like, and we have conversations. If you know that a man likes you and he's approaching you, he is 5'2" and hasn't had a haircut since 1967. He has on the same bell bottoms your dad used to wear in the 70s. Is that the man for you?
No, it's not.
Okay. So we've just already come to the conclusion, if you don't like it when you see it and it comes up, it's like going someplace and you ask for lemonade and they gave you Diet Coke.
Well, it's true. You don't have to take the Diet Coke.
That's the whole point. I don't have to take this chick I don't want. I don't have to take this chick I don't want. You don't have to take that man you don't want either.
That's why it's equally important from what we were saying is that if a man sees something, he should go for it. The woman doesn't have to go after him. He should be able to initiate the conversation.
Young ladies, you better go after what you want. Okay, then you end up with the buck-tooth man with the bell bottoms.
Young men, you should do the same thing. If you see a woman that you want, you should go after her and approach her.
Well, okay. Now, I will advocate that. I say you should put on the full court press. But I do say, bruh, if she looks like she's getting ready to go and take her ball and go and play on another court, then you better have plan B, C, and D ready. You be like, oh, this isn't going to work. Let me go ahead over here. Shawty over here. She was my second. She was my number 2.
So you're saying, so then you're saying they should line up people, even if they're not their ultimate choice, they should have them lined up as the second or third option.
Don't we tell young people all the time when it comes to careers that they should have multiple, you should have things on deck. You should have your plan B, your plan C. You should have options. I thoroughly believe that when it comes to dating and relationships. You better have some options because if not, you get stuck out there with a buck-tooth woman and with bad hairstyle.
No, I think the majority of people make bad decisions when they hop around from their first decision that didn't work out, and then they're going to their second and third and fourth, and most times it doesn't end up working out because they haven't stopped and took some time for themselves. So that's when people are making bad decisions or hopping from person to person, baby to baby, relationship to relationship. And I'm a strong believer in that you transfer energy to. So if you're going with all these different people or partners, you're picking up a piece of each one of them with you. And then sometimes you're taking that into the next situation. So even if you and a person could be a perfect match, because you have not allowed yourself to cleanse from that last situation, you may not fully get yourself into this new situation or give of yourself to this new situation.
Well, the one thing I will say in closing is this. Young men, make sure that you don't go chasing waterfalls.
Oh, gosh.
Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you are used to. Okay? I will say,
Don't go chasing.
ma'am, this is, we don't have enough money to pay them for this. We don't own the rights to that. All I'm going to say to you is that young men, have a plan. Make a decision. Make a business decision when you meet a young lady. This is either going to be it or this is not going to be it. Now, to Mo's point, you got to be ready. You got to come into the game ready to be a part of this game. You can't come into the game and your 3 baby mamas are calling you and hunting you down because each of them need this month's allotment of child support. I'm saying go and find you that young lady that you want. Go up. If you listen, young men, if you want J's, All right? Don't go and buy some K-Swiss. I don't know if they still have K-Swiss anymore, but
I used to love K-Swiss.
I know we did, but I don't know if the young people know what K-Swiss are anymore. I don't think they do.
They probably don't.
But the problem is, again, don't go getting something you don't want, right? If you want a pink Ferrari, don't get a blue Honda. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. Go get what you want. You're going to pay for it anyway. You're going to pay for it at the beginning or the end of this thing anyway. So I say get the terms of the agreement down. Start putting this negotiation in process. Listen, you know what I came for. You know what this is about. I'm trying to see if you on the same page and I'm on the same page. And if you're on the same page, great. It'll work. If you're not on the same page, then, you know.
So you mean about people being honest about what they're really looking for? Even if they found the one that they're interested in, if they just want nothing serious, you're saying they should put it on the table right up front.
I think you should always put it on the table up front.
That's what I said from the beginning. So we've had this great conversation based off saying the exact same thing.
I
said we
I
should.
said mine.
No.
Mine was really direct.
Mine was too. I said just be upfront and honest. That's being direct.
Well, I've never said that you had to not be upfront and honest, but we have learned as men you can't be that honest. Like, hey, shorty, I just wanted to smash and grab and leave up out of here. No, you can't do that.
It's always the way in which you message something, and then a person, if they're not really for it, they can say, "I'm really not interested in that," and you have to be equally as respectful and understand that as the person who said it to you, how they said it, that they weren't willing to do what you wanted them to do.
Okay, you know,
So, you know what I
do
mean?
what I want to do, but it would be nice. That's all I'm saying. But I'm going to let the listeners leave their words. Make sure that in the comment section, in the commentation, make sure that you are leaving your comments and thoughts about this episode. And tell us about what happened. Maybe there was a time when you were forward and it worked, and maybe there was a time it didn't work. It's up to you to tell us what you were doing. But I think that you should just go ahead and do it. Be like the shoe company. I won't give them the name because they're not sponsoring us. But just go out and do what you got to do. You find that young lady, you find that young man, and you say to them, you got what I need. You got what I want.
No.
You can't sing Teddy to them. Can't be aggressive.
Most people nowadays don't know Teddy.
Well, they need to. That's not my fault. That's their problem. They should know that Teddy Pendergrass was one of the most aggressive and most assertive men that I had ever heard. He just told you what it was. He said, come in, shut the door, cut the lights off.
Well, I think that we need to bring it back to where we opened up at.
Okay.
I think that it's not just about women making the move on the man to let them know the interest. I think men has equally the right to pursue a woman or make their interest known. It does not always have to be the other way around.
That's true. But, hey, man, if you see a hottie and she comes up to you and gives you the rhythm, like, let her go ahead and spit that game. Like, rate on the game. Be like, girl, it was okay. That was all right. That was all right.
Yeah, but what if it's just a person who has a friendly demeanor and conversation with everyone and people are reading into it wrong?
That's a whole different, ma'am, that's a whole different podcast. That's not this podcast. We're not getting into the misconceptions of friendship. We are talking about a chick that comes up to you and says, hey, shawty, you know what this is. You know what I want to do. And you say, ma'am, so do I. Girl, I was waiting for you to say something earlier. I don't know why you didn't say something. I was waiting.
But also, not only that, it's also if a man is interested in a female and he wants to just take her out, he can open up that conversation. He doesn't have to wait until she shows interest.
That's true.
He has to make his interest known as well.
Well, I think you should always make your interest known. And you just go up to her and you tell her, you are the one for today.
For today. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
I'm G Sizzle.
And I'm Moe Sizzle.
And this is White Table Talk here on the Sizzle Uncut.